We have emphasized earlier that application essays, when written in the form of stories and personal journeys, displaying growth, commitment, and achievement, become a lot more convincing and have a higher rate of being successful. However, building validations or credible proof within your essay could be quite difficult. It needs to be built through long-term rigor and hard work, rather than flowery language. Over the years, the universities have also become quite wary of claims in application essays and use sophisticated AI-based algorithms, social media crawler programs, and third-party agencies to validate them, especially for distant countries such as India and China, where the culture of intellectual honesty is not so prevalent. Here is a list of various approaches one can adopt in order to build credible proof of your achievements in your university application. 1. Paper-based evidence. This category includes all the certificates for social and extracurricular activities and academic transcripts which have been issued to you by an agency with some authority. This is the most basic and traditional way of generating proof and is generally considered the most reliable. Such proof should be stated upfront in your essay. Here is an example. Despite my dyslexia, I scored 95% in mathematics and 86% in English in the National Board Exams of India. The only caveat with this category is the integrity and authenticity of the certificate issuing agency. Certificates given by the government, national or state level institutions, and established organizations have more value than local NGOs or random operators. However, there are instances, skills, or interests which do not lend themselves to paper-based validation. In those cases, other kinds of validations come into play. 2. Recommendation or references. The value of this evidence is at par with paper-based evidence. A teacher recommendation or a professional reference adds immense value to your application. It becomes an extremely powerful tool if the referee cites an achievement or a quality of the individual in their reference letter, which is also cited by the student in their application essay. The great perk of a recommendation or a reference letter is the fact that it is a personal testimony from an expert and can validate achievements which might not have sufficient paper proof. It is fundamental that references are obtained from people who have seen your work from close quarters, such as immediate bosses, teachers, and mentors. 3. Social proof. In today's highly connected world, universities would invariably browse through the social profile of a student to corroborate their stories and also look for potential behavioral red flags. Hence, it's an extremely effective tool that can be used to build up proof to back your application. If thousands of people are following you on social media, like your work, or better yet, support you by their money, then that is an incredible way to assess your skills in that area. Here are a few examples. 1. A student used his history, built up over a number of years, of his computer game records and YouTube followers, which ran into a few 100,000, as a proof that helped him gain admission at MIT and Stanford. 2. An art student used Facebook to build up a boutique business, selling her paintings to art connoisseurs. That Facebook link cited in her application was enough to get her admitted to Parsons, New York. 3. A student funded his project via Kickstarter and was able to sell his product to a customer. Through showcasing this in his admission application, Harvard Business School was happy to have him in. 4. Computer science students can build proof of their excellent coding skills via participation in code challenges, such as Kaggle and CodeChef. Having their code shared extensively enables their applications to pick up a seat at top places, such as Caltech or UC Berkeley. 4. Digital proof. This is different from having proof in the form of a massive social media following or active online community engagement. It focuses on the work that is conducted on the digital platform, which can be traced through their online footprint. For example, even if a startup idea did not survive long-term, a successful business school applicant can use the website link of their businesses in the application to showcase their innovation and credibility. Even if a student is not the best at a said skill, if he is using his skill or idea in a creative manner to help others, have a digital record of it in the form of user testimonials or a website, that is enough to display their potential. 5. Surrogate legitimacy. Demonstrating association with internationally known brands and organizations who have a certain integrity established of their own is a good strategy. This is demonstrated more clearly in the following case. A student participated in a massive lake cleanup, which was a UN-sponsored project that restored the biodiversity of the city. There was extensive coverage in the newspapers, and the association with United Nations conferred a degree of legitimacy on the said student when he mentioned it in his application. Surrogate legitimacy techniques should be used as an additional layer of evidence, serving as secondary anchors for your story rather than being used as the first line of proof. 6. Knowledge-based legitimacy. This is an extremely tricky way to build evidence, but if intertwined carefully within the narrative of your essay and backed with other more credible evidences, it can certainly add more weightage to your story. One should never use this exclusively without a primary layer of other, more reliable evidences. Here is a successful narrative which explains knowledge-based legitimacy. A student ventured into the forest trying to spot a rare bird. They photographed one and sent it back to their team for verification, and finally identified it through the color of its eyes. This detailing, when complemented with other primary proofs, is critical to establish that the student is enthusiastic about birds and really knows his stuff. The flip side is that any expert can talk about birds with such nuanced details. In short, an essay which has several layers of evidence around a single point is more likely to be picked as an authentic one. This validation building process requires long-term strategy and dedication to be constructed well. It is suggested to start early and accumulate corroborating pieces of your narrative in order to achieve the requisite impact with your application.